Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we will be going to Talladega in the Xfinity Series and in the Cup Series. And I said last episode, coming into this episode, during the week of the Talladega event, we actually had our first Formula One test in hopes of completing the double of the Monaco Grand Prix and the Coca-Cola 600 this season, as the FIA announced that they will be moving the start time of the Monaco Grand Prix up by an hour, and NASCAR will be moving the Coca-Cola 600 back by an hour to allow me to have the chance to run the Monaco Grand Prix and the Coca-Cola 600 on the same day to complete our own version of the double. So we got into testing in Texas here at the U.S. Grand Prix site in Austin now, as we were testing the Haas F1 car, and it went really well. We got some wet practice too, so it went really well for us, and we're excited for Monaco. But now we have to set our sights towards the Xfinity race, and we had Natalie Decker in the car competing for us when it came into Talladega, and she would start in the 36th starting position, so she would have her work cut out for her for sure, but she would certainly be able to at least work her way up on the start. It didn't go very well being on the outside line, kind of in an awkward situation, going 3 wide up the middle really early on in this race. Now, as she was on the inside of the 28 on the exit of turn 2, though, she would get clear and she would be able to get down to that bottom line, and that would certainly help her out. By the time we came to about the midway point in this race, she had worked her way up to 29th, still starting to climb her way forwards at this point. And she would just continue to climb her way forward as she looked to the inside of the 38 of J.J. Yaley as she came across the line at this point in the 28th position as they went down into turns 1. And by the time she came to the final lap in Talladega, she got up to P24, coming through turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time, as you see the 39 of Ryan Segan, the Lombard Bros gaming car, actually leading at a turn 4 as she came down the front straight away. Natalie Decker looking for a top 20 in her first Xfinity Series race, but she would come through the trial, getting up to that 24th position as she comes through and exits the trial. She will come through to cross the line to get P21 for our team in Talladega. So a decent finish for Natalie Decker. Certainly not what we needed, but it's certainly a start for us. Hopefully we can pick up the pace again, because these last few races haven't been the greatest for us in terms of the finishing position. So hopefully we will work on it even more and get some more speed out of this car. But now it's time to set our focus on the Cup Series event. Talladega, usually a track I don't have a lot of speed at, so we usually have to run almost a full custom setup at this racetrack, and hopefully we can maybe pull something off. We usually qualify really bad here. The pack racing is never as good at Talladega in this game, but we came to qualifying towards the end of our second lap in the first round, coming through the tri-oval, and it wasn't going to be a very good lap. As we exited the tri-oval to come through to cross the line, we got a 49.714, and we will start in a disappointing 31st place for Talladega. So let's see if we can climb our way back up there.
Today, we make our first stop at Talladega's Superspeedway for today's running of the Geico 500. Talladega is 2.66 miles long, making it the longest track in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Its relatively wide layout also allows drivers to run in rows of 3, 4, and sometimes even 5 lanes. Such close-quarter racing is thrilling for us, but leaves them little time to react to any incident, raising the possibility of the big one. Who will stay out of trouble and make their way to victory lane today? Let's head down to the track and find out.
Alright, we are ready to go green in Talladega. Kyle Busch on the pole along with Joey Logano on the outside front row. Reed Sorensen crashed in qualifying, so he will be driving a backup car coming into this event. Kurt Busch unapproved body modification during qualifying, so he will also be starting at the back of the field. He already has a win, so he's locked into the playoffs, so I doubt it really matters to him now as we get ready to start this race in Talladega. We haven't got a plate win yet, but hopefully we can do it today as the green flag is out. We are underway here in Talladega now, starting behind the 24 of William Byron in that Liberty University car as we come through to cross the line to start this race on his back bumper, giving him a little bit of a shove as we head down towards turns 1. Kyle Busch and Logano still side by side for the lead as they go through the center of the corner, but Kyle Busch edging out the 22 early on now as we stay committed to the back of William Byron for the moment through turns 1 and 2. Now as we head out of the corner down the back straightaway for the first time, still behind that 24 of William Byron now as we try to get in line, and we actually make a little bit of contact with the 72 of Ryan Truex, as I didn't even realize he was right below me, but fortunately we get out of that without any damage or any big contact causing an incident now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4. Kyle Busch continuing to lead as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway to try and complete this first lap now as we approach the trial. We're sitting in the 29th position as we head down into the trial. We're now taking 28th just barely as we come through, getting into the back of William Byron, but we come through to complete that first lap in the 28th spot. And by the time we came to lap 3, we're still in the same position up on this outside line, actually in 29th, still behind the 24 though of William Byron, who's closing in on the back of Ryan Blaney, who goes up the track a little bit now as we come through turns 1 and 2 alongside the 47 of Ryan Preece as we exit the corner, though trying to work our way up, but it's really hard on this outside line, so we tried to get to the bottom if we could, but later that lap we would make it 3 wide up the middle with Ryan Blaney with Jamie McMurray on my inside now as we try to at least get a position gained over the 12 of Ryan Blaney as we come through the trial, making contact with McMurray, but thankfully we keep it straight now as we cross the line to edge out the 12 of Blaney, so we would take that position. And by the time we came to lap 6, we did get to that bottom line, and we got ourselves up to that 26th position. We got ahead of William Byron, and we got ahead of the 47 of Ryan Preece as we come down the back straightaway, right behind that 13 of Ty Dillon, trying to get in behind him, and we do just that as we head down into turns 3. And as we came to the end of the 6th lap, we would look to the inside of the 13 of Ty Dillon to make it 3 wide now with the RC car on his outside as we look to the inside of them both through turns 1 and 2, and we would try to edge out in front of Ty Dillon, but we would get checked up a little bit from Brendan Gaughan, and that allows the 13 at least to stay alongside me as we worked our way into the top 25 now as we came down the back straightaway. Jimmy Johnson just up ahead in front of the 62 of Gaughan, and by the time we came to lap 10, we got up to P16 at this point with Jimmy Johnson just behind me, so we continued to rally our way through the field, looking to the inside of Denny Hamlin though as we went down into turns 3, just getting cleared by him now through the center of the corner, approaching his back bumper, but the caution would come out and stage 1 would come to an early end, and I couldn't find what brought out the caution, but I'm assuming some type of incident or something happened behind us, or maybe a blown engine, as Chris Buescher won the stage, picking himself up a playoff point as we would all stay out at the end of the stage and to get ready to go green again. Now as the green flag is back out, we restart this second stage from the 16th position, now behind the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Like I said before, we haven't gotten along with the 19, so we're trying to be careful with him. We don't want to make him a rival. I wouldn't mind having a rival at one point in this career mode, obviously, just to maybe get things very interesting, but now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2, Keselowski hung out on that top line, and he is going to the back very quickly now as we get a position gained, and this outside line is moving quite a bit forward, but we have a bit of a checkup just in front of me, so it completely destroys our momentum as we come down the back straightaway, heading down towards turn 3 as we try to work our way into the top 10 now, racing alongside the 6 of Ryan Newman, as he, last episode, we were running behind him again in Richmond, and then he blew a tire now as we get down into that inside line just in front of Keselowski, who found a hole to get back into the pack, so he won't fly all the way back down to the mid-30s, so he's in good shape now as we come through the trial. We're coming through to complete this first lap of the second stage as Chris Buescher continues to lead now as we head down towards turns 1. And actually, it looks like Paul Menard has taken the lead as we went down into turns 1 and 2. And Alex Bowman got through to second, and Stenhouse in that third position. So Buescher actually is not leading this race at the moment now as we come down the back straightaway to the outside line, using the draft from the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. now as we fall back in line behind the 11 of Denny Hamlin, just barely tagging him in the right rear. We've certainly gotten into it with Denny Hamlin in recent races as well as come through turns 3. Hamlin dumped us in Martinsville. We dumped him in Bristol, and we got into him last episode in Richmond unintentionally and kind of messed up his race as well as we come down the front straightaway down into the trial. We'll look into the inside of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as we are now in that top 15 position, but we want to be up towards that top 10 as we hit 12 to go in this second stage as we head down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Paul Menard continues to lead this race at the moment as Jimmy Johnson closes in on my back bumper now as we come through the center of the corner. And this track is certainly, you see a lot more single file drafting at this track in this game, and it's unfortunate, but you see it later in the stages. It starts to get more single file, and we would be in P14 by the time we came to the midway point, so we only gained 1 spot, and we're behind our teammate, or our former teammate, sorry, of Kyle Larson now as we come down the back straightaway as he is going to look to the inside, so we're going to follow him down there and try to push him ahead, maybe to the inside of the 43 of Bubba Wallace in that Richard Petty Motorsports car as we head down into turn 3, though Bubba Wallace, he's looking like he might want to get down, and now he does just barely barely get down in front of Larson as we come through and exit turn 4, and Chris Buescher actually would get back to the lead, so he'd be in command once again as we come through down into the tri-oval now, trying to work our way to the top 10, but I just didn't quite have the speed at the moment to make it happen. And by the time we came to lap 8, or later on lap 8, coming to the end of lap 8, we were still in that same position in P14, just in front of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, losing a bit of contact, though, between myself and Kyle Larson. You see the gap kind of stretching out as we're just barely hanging on here, but we certainly started closing in on the back of them as we hit 6 to go, and by the time we were coming to just a white flag in the second stage, Chris Buescher had lost the lead, and we'd move up to P12 with Jimmy Johnson continuing to follow me as we head down towards the tri-oval. So Buescher, he has dropped back a considerable amount of positions as we still just can't quite run down this group. Up ahead is a white flag in stage 2 is in the air as we try to rally our way up to at least get a stage point or so. Now as Buescher and the 3 of Austin Dillon go side by side as we come through turns 1 and 2, we look to the inside of Austin Dillon, who has no help at all, so we easily clear him, and we have a big run down the back straightaway, so we look to the inside of Chris Buescher as we go side by side down the back straightaway for the final time in this second stage. Now closing in on the back of the 88 of Alex Bowman as we head into turns 3 for the final time in the stage. Buescher falls in behind me. Now he moves back up to that outside line as Johnson fills that hole. He's going to try and take the position away from Buescher as well. Now as David Reagan leads down the front straightaway as we head down into the tri-oval, Alex Bowman just in front of me. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to pass him, but David Reagan will come through the tri-oval to win the second stage in Talladega as we get P10 in stage 2, so at least we get 1 point now as we get ready to start this final stage. And I believe we would come to pit road here. Yes, we would. Everyone would be pitting, so you can take 4 tires at this track and come out of there in good shape. So we took 4 tires, and we took 2 cans of fuel, and we would come out in the 10th position beside Alex Bowman. We did pit at the end of the first stage as well. I didn't say we did, but we actually did now. As we get ready to start this final stage, though, the green flag is out. We start in that 10th position behind the 43 of Bubba Wallace now, as he has been really a king at plate racing in this game. He has been very good. I think he won Daytona last season in the July race, but the outside has a horrible start, and we get a big checkup. Paul Menard led that outside line, and he certainly did not do a good job leading it at all as we come through turns 1 and 2. Bubba Wallace getting down to that inside line as we're going to fill that gap he left open, closing in on the back of the 42 of our former teammate Larson as we have another checkup, and that's really going to kill the outside line's momentum now as we just start falling back as the inside line just starts to move forwards now as we come down into turns 3. Kyle Busch leads this outside line now just in front of me now as he's got Larson with help and myself, but we lose contact with the back of the 42 now as we come through on the exit of turn 4. Ty Dillon clearing me as we head down into the tri-oval. We have an opportunity to get down in front of Kevin Harvick, and we take that opportunity and we get clear and we sit in that 15th position. So we didn't lose a terrible amount of positions now as we head down into turns 1. David Reagan leads over second place, so Joey Logano's Eric Almirola and Denny Hamlin battle side by side behind them for that 3rd position as we look to the inside of Ty Dillon now as we come out of turn 2. Down the back straightaway behind Ryan Newman in the number 6 Roush Fenway Racing Ford Mustang as we come down the back straightaway, giving him a bit of a shot to the bumper as we head down towards turns 3. Ty Dillon still on my outside as we head into the corner, so we're just continuing to ride on this bottom line and hoping that we move forward. But right off the bat, you see that early on in this final stage is quite a bit of a single file draft up ahead, so certainly diminishing our chances of making up positions by the time we came to lap 32. Still running on this bottom line behind Newman and trying to look to the inside of Ty Dillon as we head down into turns 3 as they go 3 wide behind us in my mirror between Harvick and Stenhouse as we head down into turns 3 and 4, though Larson battles side by side with the 6 of Newman as we exit the corner down the front straightaway. And as we came to lap 36, we moved up to that 11th position, continuing to run that bottom line as Paul Menard fell behind there, you see, as we sit right behind the 11 of Denny Hamlin as we come out of turn 2 down the back straightaway, just trying to stay on this inside line as he has a bit of a checkup. We look to his inside now, but not able to get down to his inside as Menard looks to my outside, but we would end up getting another caution, setting us up for a pretty late race restart with Almirola out front now here in Talladega. And we would be starting behind the 22 of Joey Logano as the race has restarted. It is just a handful, well, just under 10 laps to go. Now, as we come through to cross the line, it is just 9 laps to go in Talladega. On the inside of Denny Hamlin, trying to work our way into the top 10 now as David Reagan doesn't have the best restart at all now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2, hoping that we have a really good restart on this bottom line. And the 48 leads that outside line, and he certainly does not have a good restart for that outside line as we come down the back straightaway. It was certainly better than the last one, though, we can say that much. But as we come down the back straightaway, we get into the back of the 22, giving him a huge push, and he gets a ton of momentum as we head down into turn 3. So he goes out to that outside line and goes up to beside the 88 of Alex Bowman, but that was as far as he would get, as he would stall out a little bit there, as Jimmy Johnson would be in behind him, as we would slide up for a moment, trying to draft that 88, but not happening now as we look to the inside of Kyle Busch with an ambitious move, kind of catching him sleeping there, and we would look to his inside and also look to the inside of Joey Logano as we would come through to complete the lap and now move in to a top 5 position for the first time today behind the 88 of Bowman, who has Bubba Wallace in second and Almirola continuing to lead this race as we come through turns 1 and turns 2, with Logano staying in behind me, but he can't really decide on a line right now as Paul Menard, he is working his way back forwards as well on this bottom line as we get up to the top to draft with the 22 of Joey Logano now as we head down into turn 3, drop into the inside again. And as we come through turns 3 and turns 4, trying our best to stay connected with these front 3 cars, but it was kind of hard to do so as we come out of turn 4, though. Almirola, our teammate, looking for his first win on the season, just like 3 other cars on the Stewart-Haas Racing team are, as Harvick is the only one on our team at the moment with a victory. Now as we come through to cross the line, we would go to lap 41 with a 3-wide move for the lead from Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace. Almirola would lose the top position with Joey Logano now looking at my outside as we come out of turn 4. Bowman to command here in Talladega. And now Paul Menard looks to my inside as we go 3 wide in the middle. The 21 hits me and sideways we go in front of the field as we make a huge save in Talladega. One of the biggest saves in my career for sure. It's amazing that we did not get hit by anyone and cause a big crash, but that didn't matter. It would completely ruin our race now as we went through turns 1 and 2. We would sit in P21 at this point, coming to the white flag of this race. And it always seems like we find a way to run into trouble at this racetrack, or just at plate tracks in general, as we would cross the line to start this final lap in Talladega. I believe Paul Menard might be in command at this point as we head down into turns 1 and turns 2, sitting in that 21st position behind Michael McDowell as we exit turn 2 now, coming down the back straightaway, and the 6th of Ryan Newman goes spinning to the inside while we get to the outside immediately, but now the caution comes out and that will force an overtime restart late in Talladega. Now Paul Menard indeed is in command as we get ready to start overtime here in Talladega. So we can't finish a race without some overtime, obviously, as we get ready to start behind Spinhouse in the 17. Now as the green flag is back out, overtime is underway, although that caution should have ended the race. Obviously it was on the last lap, but there's that glitch in the game where you can have a last lap caution and force overtime. Now as we get into the back of the 17 with the 2 laps to go now in Talladega, trying to at least gain a few positions back that we lost, but we get a big checkup from the 17 now as we're kind of just stuck on his back bumper, nowhere to go at the moment. Now as Kurt Busch looks to my inside, as we come out of turn 2, the checkup gets even worse. Goodness gracious, the 17 does not want to go anywhere now as we try to get to his inside, but not able to do so as we make a little bit of contact with the car on my right hand side as we come down the back straightaway. I believe that was Ross Chastain, yes it was. And now as we go down into turns 3, closing in on the back of the 17 now as Chastain loses a bit of momentum as he had to check up for the 37 of Chris Buescher as we exit turn 4, looking to the inside of Stenhouse, but not able to quite get to his left-hand side as we come down into the trial, approaching the white flag. Paul Menard still in the lead at the moment as he looks to get his second win in 2 seasons, or the last 2 seasons of this career mode, as I believe he may actually have a win in every season so far. Now as we head down into turns 1 and 2, side by side with Ross Chastain as we sit in the 20th position at this point as we exit turn 2, down the back straightaway though for the final time on the back bumper of the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Corey LaJoie behind me and William Byron as they battle side by side as we try to look to the inside of the 17 one more time, making a 3 wide going down into turn 3 for the final time here in Talladega as we are not able to get down to the inside of Steno, so as he would clear me. Paul Menard in command over second place of Jimmy Johnson as we head down the front straightaway into the tri-oval for the final time in Talladega. Chase Elliott all the way in last as Paul Menard would come through to win in Talladega as we come through in a disappointing 20th place finish after just about being taken out in a big crash, but it turned out to not be a big crash after we made a huge save and were able to keep the car clean somehow. Either way though, it doesn't really matter. It was a disappointing finish. We had a decent run. We got up to the top 5, and when Paul Menard took me 3 wide, we tried to cover the move, and I'm not sure if he came up into me or if I came down into him, but either way we made contact, and we shot up the track, collected our teammate Eric Almirola, and unfortunately just did not end the way we wanted it to. Now, as in the next episode we will be going to Dover though, and that's a track that we won at last season, so I have a lot of hope going into that one.
Don't worry about the last race. Stay positive. Everybody has a bad one. Let's focus on what we've got to do to get better.
Thank you so much, Ray Evernham, for the very kind words. But there we got some drivers that are happy with us, and we have some drivers that aren't happy with us, like our teammate Eric Almirola. We apologize. We didn't mean to collect him in that incident with the 21 of Paul Menard. Ross Chastain, he's not very happy. William Byron, not very happy either, so we apologize to him. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be incredibly appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos. I do truly appreciate it, especially if you've hit that subscribe button and joined this community. But I will see you guys in the next episode for Dover. Hopefully we can get another win there, as you see the playoff grid on your screen. Currently, McMurray needs 1 point to get in right now, but I'll see you guys in the next one for Dover. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day. I'll see you in the next one.